In this video, we're going to look at the steps of solving an equation by completing the square, and we're going to look at 5 examples that each showcase a few different things. So in this very first problem, we're solving for x by completing the square, which means we want to have a perfect trinomial square. And so we're going to add a blank space in which to make this a perfect square. So anything we add, we need to balance out subtracting. And then we still have this plus 8. So you recall we take half of the middle term squared. So half of 8 is 4, and when I squared, I add 16. And then of course, because I'm adding 16, I also subtract 16. So the end product is that I change nothing. Now I'm going to look at these first 3 terms right here and factor them into x plus 4 squared. Over here I'm going to add negative 16 and 8, which gives me minus 8 equals 0. And now I just need to solve this equation. I'm going to start by putting 8 on the other side. Now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So x plus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 8. And then I think about 8. Let's see. 8 equals, so square root of 8 is the square root of 4 times 2. And I can take the square root of 4, so I get 2 root 2. So, and then I also am going to subtract 4. So I'm going to get this 4 comes over, it's negative 4 plus or minus, and the square root of 8 is 2 root 2. And here is our answer. All right, let's try another one. Now in this next problem, that 20x is on the wrong side. And in fact, when we move it over, we need it to be in the middle. So let's start with that. X squared minus 20x. We're going to add something to complete the square, subtract something to balance that out, and that 101 is still sitting right over here on this side. So half of 20 is 10, squared is 100, so I'm going to add 100 and also subtract 100. I take the first 3 terms and I can rewrite it as x minus 10 squared, because 10 is half of 20 and the square root of 100. And then I combine these two, negative 100 and 101 is plus 1. And now I'm going to solve, so I get x minus 10 squared equals negative 1. I'm going to take the square root of both sides, so x minus 10 equals plus or minus the square root of negative 1. And then I remember that square root of negative 1 is I, so plus or minus I, and now I just need to add 10. So x equals 10 plus or minus I is my solution. All right, now in these next ones, we have a leading term that's not a 1, so we start with a 2 out front. And so the first thing is going to be to factor that 2 out. So we get x squared plus 6x. We cannot complete the square until we factored out that leading term. We're going to add a number there. I'll come back to that. That number is being multiplied by 2, so I balance it out with a minus 2 times some blank. And that equals 30. All right, so here we go. Half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So I'm going to add 9 in both of those. So now I have out here 2. I have x plus 3 squared minus 18 equals 30. All right, and again, we're solving for x. First step is to add 18. So 2x plus 3 squared equals 48. Next, I'm going to want to divide by 2. So x plus 3 squared equals 24. And now square root. X plus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 24. Now let's think about that. So the square root of 24 is the square root of 4 times 6. Square root of 4 is 2. So I get 2 root 6. So I'm going to fill that in over here. I need some space in front. So I have the square root of 2 root 6. And all that's left is to subtract the 3. So x equals negative 3 plus or minus 2 root 6. All right, let's try another one. So here we've got the same thing where we've got the 3 out front. This time we're going to factor 3 out of the first 2 terms. So we take out a 3. We've got x squared minus 10x. We leave space for our completing the square. We balance that out with a minus 3 times blank, because this blank's being multiplied by 3. Whatever we added here, we have to subtract the same. And we still have this 84 tagging along on the end. Half of 10 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So I'm going to put a 25 in those blanks. And now I'm ready to keep solving. So 3x minus 5 squared. See, this is negative 75 plus 84, so it's going to be 9 plus 9 equals 0. X minus 5 squared, oh, that 3 doesn't disappear, there's a 3, equals negative 9. So I subtracted 9 from both sides. Now I'm going to divide by 3. X minus 5 squared equals negative 3. And now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So x minus 5 equals plus or minus the square root of negative 3. Well, I know when I take a square root of a negative, I'm going to get I, but the 3 is going to stay inside because I can't take the square root of it because it's not a perfect square. So I get I root 3, and finally my final answer is 5 plus or minus I root 3. All right, let's do one last one just for good measure. So in this one, we've got 25x squared at the beginning, which means we're going to be factoring out a 25. So we've got 25x squared minus 4x plus blank. We'll balance that out with a minus 25 times blank plus 73 equals 0. Half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So that's what we're going to add in both spots. And so we have 25 x minus 2 squared minus 100 plus 73. So let's see, that's going to be minus 27 equals 0. So let's see, I'm going to add 27 and divide by 25. So I'm going to end up with x minus 2 squared, add 27, divide by 25. When I go to take the square root, I can take the square root of 25 easily enough. I have a plus or minus, that's a 5 in the bottom. Square root of 27, let's think about that. Square root of 27 is going to be the square root of 9 times 3. Square root of 9 is 3, still 3 inside. So I've got this 3 root 3 on top. Now all I have to do is add 2. So x equals 2 plus or minus 3 root 3 all over 5. And there's our final answer.